Good evening and welcome to the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
And I am Thomas Doty.
And we are the FITT Show every Thursday, 8 p.m. live on Facebook and on YouTube. So make sure you go out there, you YouTube people, and subscribe to our show. And if you're on Facebook, we want you to click on the thumbs up button as many times as you can and the heart button so that we can get as much traction, because that's how Facebook and those type of social media sites work, to get you to more people. So we're here because we are talking about helping our people get their finances in shape. This is our 27th show. Is that right, though? 27th? Man, we rolling, man. In a row, we're doing great things. Just want to remind everybody, next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we won't be airing our show in respect for everybody who will probably be eating turkey. And for you Southern-minded mothers who are going to be eating chitlins and ham hocks, have at it. Good Lord. What do they call it? Wrinkle steak. Be eating that wrinkle steak. I just never could eat chitlins. Did you ever eat chitlins?
Couldn't stand the smell.
I could never get past the smell when my mother had them in the pot. But there's a bunch of my friends that love some chitlins. So anyway, next week we won't be on, but we'll be every Thursday after that. We will be on. And this is the holiday season. We're going into that season. I'm so sure you all are seeing all these kinds of advertisements. I mean, they done skip past Thanksgiving and they got Christmas stuff all up already, dope.
Oh, yeah. They trying to get your money.
But one of the things we want to start, that we started doing with our show, we now have a segment where we start all our shows with a market update. So we want to start today with, tell us a little bit about what the market did today, Dope.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. The Dow's down a couple hundred points over the last week. And, you get a lot of ups and downs. And this is the week hearted. This is when you don't want to be in the market. But the NASDAQ has been on a pretty good run. There were some good earnings reports from a couple of companies that pushed some stocks up. And I've had a pretty good week. My holdings have done pretty well, except for a couple. My Microsoft was up about 7 points over the week, which is a nice little run. Tesla was up 63 points, but remember it had that like 100-point drop one day last week. So there's going to be ups and downs with that one. But again, I'm still almost double my initial investment. Apple had a nice little run. They're up 11 points for the week. And that Pfizer, which I invested some more money in, it's up a couple of points. But as I told you before, that's more of a dividend play. They pay almost 4% as a dividend. And my one flyer I took, that company Upstart, they had a rough week. They're down 23 points for the week. They dropped down to 226. And again, that's one I bought at 133. So I'm still up, but it's getting a little shaky. So I may do something with that one. Still sitting on a little bit of a gain, but I also have Alibaba, which has just been taking a killing. I keep waiting for that to turn around. A lot of
Tell people what Alibaba is, though.
It's like the Chinese version of Amazon, and the Chinese regulatory folks are really making it difficult for them right now. So I'm waiting for that to clear up, and I may do some take that tax loss to offset that gain if I decide to sell Upstart. That'll be the one I'll use to offset it, which is what you should be doing this time of year, looking at your losses and trying to minimize your gains by writing off anything that you're looking to get rid of. So a choppy week on the market, but and it's going to be that way for a while because we are in such crazy times right now. So not for the weak-minded.
Yeah, and we just want to remind you, we're just giving you a market update. We're not telling you what to invest in. We're just telling you what we're invested in and sharing with you. Just giving you information that's upon you what you want to actually invest in, and you should always get a financial advisor to help you. Dope, I'm just going to give you a little update of my stocks, like NXP, which is a semiconductor, which is in all cell phones. I think Samsung is the only company, I think, that makes their own semiconductors. All the other phones don't. So they rely like on Intel, NXP, and other companies, NVIDIA, Texas Instruments. But I have this one out of Holland called NXP, and it's up uh, approximately 3 points, and it's planning to give um, a dividend of $2.25 per share. And if you know about dividends, that's a good dividend to be paying per share, and they plan to pay that in December. Though the top gainers of today, can you believe this? One of the top gainers today by 7 points is Victoria's Secrets.
Hmm.
What do you think is going on there?
Staying home.
Hey man, there's no finance without romance. but I can't believe that. In tech, what else is up in this? Because, well, inflation is going off the roof. We talked about that last week. It's up about 6.2%. And you can see at the stores, I'm sure y'all see that all the prices going up. But BJ's stock though is up 11.9 $11.96 a share.
Yeah, Bob, I have Costco, and they expected a letdown once the pandemic kind of eased, but they're just rolling. People are still, maybe because they're staying home, they're buying more of that stuff.
And they're supposed to be discounted places, right? The cost.
No, they're not discounted. No,
not.
No,
Costco.
Costco's whole play is that they try to make 8% on everything they sell. So a lot of the stuff they sell is usually cheaper than you'll find at other places because, again, they're just trying to make their 8%. And it's crazy that the thing they make the most money on is jewelry. And they sell all high quality stuff at that 8% margin, and they try to stick to that. And so you can find a lot of good buys there. But people, every time I go there, it's packed. Every time I go there, it's crowded. So
and Costco, they in the business because you know what else they selling a lot of? Caskets.
Oh yeah. Well, they sell anything you name, they sell. Anything.
But I just can't imagine, put my mother in the Costco and on the side it says Costco. I just have issue with that. But no, help me with this one. Macy's is up 6 points, $6.
I don't know because I thought most of those were struggling.
Yeah,
but the mail order.
That's one of the top gainers today. Yeah, so anyway, just sharing that with you. So as we always do, we give a crypto update, right? Cryptocurrency for all y'all crypto people out there. Bitcoin is taking a beating, though. It's down from about $67,000 a coin to $56,000.63. That's a $3,450 drop. That's about a 6% drop. And all the currencies have been dropping, except this NFT, which is a non-fungible token called Cat Girl. It's up about 20%. I don't understand. That's some crazy stuff. And Shiba, which everybody I'm sure on cryptocurrency been hearing, jumping. You know how cryptocurrency works. It's about sentiment and people getting into it. They hear it, and everybody want to jump into it. And I'm sure some of y'all heard of Shiba Inu, right? INU, Shiba INU. And it's down 12%. And it's selling at 0.00000426. But people are making money off it, though. But that's a little update you all to give y'all a little understanding of what's going on with the market, let you know what's going on out there. Look, put some comments in the comment box and let us know how some of your stocks, some of your portfolio is doing. We like to know. Share with other people. Remember, knowledge is power. And one of the things we want to remind you all, please share this information. Share our shows with your family, your friends, your church goers, your trade organizations, because this information is valuable, and we just want to empower people so that they can increase their wealth. So, we're in that season. This is a holiday season when everybody's busy. This is also time for scammer and identity thieves. This is when most people are vulnerable They're very busy with their normal tasks and taking kids to activities, household duties, their job. And now to add to all of this, they have holiday shopping, holiday parties, events, getting prepared getting prepared to put up holiday decorations or going to buy some. All of this can be very distracting. How scammers and identity thieves mostly take advantage of. Most people think it won't happen to them, or it only happens to senior citizens. In 2020, though, the Better Business Bureau saw a 25% increase in scams reported by customers because the pandemic is giving fraudsters a new way to prey on people. The FBI reported that seniors lost more than $3 billion to scammers. That is why this topic today is so important for people to pay attention, not just for themselves, but to help their families, to help their family members and people they know to be aware. So today's show is going to be talking about beware of scammers and protect your assets. Just want to say shout out right quick, man. I got some wonderful people on here. Joe Finelli from the FDIC, my good friend Joe, who is a big tax guy too, and a finance guy, worked at the FDIC for years, worked in the asset side, and now he's on the division of finance side. And I think Joe might be retired too. And then I got Ronald Green, a good man, Ronald Green. Used to be a referee for the NFL, worked with the FDIC also for many years and retired. What's up, Big Ron? Out there, New Orleans type guy. And Dope, all the way from Scotland. I got my man, David Norval, who played professional basketball with me, who's Scottish. And I know him by the nickname of Fish. He's checking us out today all the way from Scotland. And I'm not sure if he's in Falkirk, Scotland, or Grangemouth. Let me know what part of Scotland you're in now, Fish, by the way. And then we got Barry Clifford. Thanks for checking us out, Barry. So, Dope, let me ask you something. Have you ever experienced identity theft?
Yes, I have. And that's the thing. You think it can't happen to you. Most people think that. You think somebody has to drop the ball or you're not paying attention. And all those things do open you up for scammers. But you can do everything right. I consider myself, as a trained accountant, you're taught to be skeptical. It's called healthy skepticism. So you kind of keep an eye on everything. That's what you're trained to do. And so I pretty much do that. But it was a couple of years ago, I went to file my taxes and found somebody had stolen our identity and had already filed taxes and had claimed a giant refund. And that just creates havoc on your life because you have to, one, you can't file your taxes, obviously, until you get that straightened out. And then you worry about what other vulnerabilities you have as far as what kind of information they have. So we had to go through all kind of just crazy stuff, bureaucracy, to get that straightened out. And that's a word to the wise. Try to do your taxes as soon as you can. A lot of people wait till April 15th to do them. And all that's doing is leaving time for people to, if you do get scammed, to file your taxes for you. So if you get them filed early, as soon as you can, that's one less thing you have to worry about. That's one more incentive to get you to do that. And other thing I just mentioned, try to check on people who you know might not be as sharp as you are or as watchful as you are, like elderly people, because they are so vulnerable to scammers and their stories. And these guys they're professionals. They do it full time. That's their job. They wake up in the morning, like you go to work, they grab a phone and start trying to scam people. That's what they do, and they are good at it. And try to keep an eye on people that you know might be vulnerable. Try to set up safeguards to keep an eye on things because they're out here and they're working hard.
I want to give a shout out to my main man, Montgomery County's finest, that's in Maryland, Silver Spring, Willis Wilson. Willis was a serious ball player, went to Blair High School, became a great coach at the University of Rice, man, in Houston, Texas, for years, and then went to was oh God, in Corpus Christi. I'm sorry, couldn't get my mind right. It's Texas, called now Texas A&M in Corpus Christi, and he became the coach and then the athletic director. So he's in checking us out, and I think Willis is either retired or on his way to retirement. So thanks for checking us out, Willis. If he's still in Texas, what's up? We got people all over the world, all over the country, though, checking us out. And I got a quick story, man. My phone, starts ringing, and it's the phone number is coming from myself. It says Bobby Kinzer. So the first thing I thought was, okay, that must be Verizon, because who can have my, well, I wasn't calling myself. So the next thing I know, I pick it up. They say, "Oh, Miss Kinzer, we just had somebody who just tried to buy an iPhone 11 at the time on your account. We just checking. Did you do that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." And they said, "Well, are you Robert Kinzer?" Yes. They even gave me my own address. They didn't even ask me for my information. They gave me my address at 11515 Chesley Court. Gave me a whole zip code and everything. I'm like, "Oh, this must be Verizon." They said, "We want to get into this, and we're just going to need, your permission to go in and make sure we put a freeze on this account." And I'm like, "Okay." And they put me on hold, and I'm on hold. And I'm thinking, I'm like, "Wait a minute, man. This might not." So I ended up calling Verizon while I was on hold, and they said, "No, we don't know anything like that, but we actually now will put a hold on your account." And I went to go back to the call, and it clicked off. So you got to watch out, man. They're good, though. And all these numbers that I'll be getting look like familiar numbers, look like my doctor's number. And I pick it up. I'm like, whoa. This is the other thing, though. When they call now, I don't answer. If it's a number and I think I don't answer, and I just hang up. But though, let's get into this, man. Let's get into some hardcore information, man, that we can help people, man, because it's a lot of scammers out there, y'all, and they're good. And we want to, ward them off the path. So let's start off, though, with this first one. Let's talk about avoiding telephone and internet scams.
And like you just said, Bob, the best way to do it is to not answer the phone, because these guys, they call and they lie, they try to scare you, they make up stories, and they sound so convincing. They sound so convincing. And so if you don't know the number, don't answer the phone, because 99 out of 100 of those guys will not leave a message. Just don't answer it. They're good. They're really good at what they're doing. So best answer, don't answer it. And another scam that's out there, and I worry about this from my mother, and as I told you before, she's 101 years old, is they call up and say, "We got your grandson, and he needs some legal advice, and he doesn't want to tell his parents. He trusts you, so can you send him some money so we can help him out?" And again, they sound so convincing. They may know his name, and they may let the grandparents speak to a person, and most old folks can't hear real good anyway. And so it's usually pretty effective. And a buddy of mine said his dad went to Western Union to try to transfer some money, and the Western Union people stopped him, because that's how prevalent these scammers are. A lot of the banks now will try to stop people. They'll ask questions when people are withdrawing large amounts of money, and just make sure it is legit. So watch that one. So if you don't enter a contest, somebody calls you, tell you won a contest, and you didn't enter a contest, hang the phone up. Again, if you don't know the number, you should hang it up anyway. And never pay to play. Be suspicious. Don't ever wire funds to nobody. That's another one. Bob always says he doesn't use Cash App much. Don't Cash App people unless you know them. And your financial institution can set up a lot of warnings for you, and they'll try to tell you when somebody's trying to do something. An emergency, if you don't know the number, it's probably not an emergency. And usually they'll try to tell you that, okay, you don't want to tell anybody about this. So those are the kind of things. They all seem kind of obvious, but as Bob talked about, you're so busy now that it's easy to slip one of these in. And again, watch out for people who you know are vulnerable. Another one is the lottery and sweepstakes. They call you up and tell you you've won a sweepstake, you know. And a lot of people do enter sweepstakes, so they think, oh, mine finally came through. And they'll request money up front. That's always a dead giveaway. When you have to send money to get money, you know that's no good. And they'll send a check that looks real good. It's pretty easy now. You can get a printer that can almost make money look real. And they might say they're an attorney for the winners, and they'll help you get your money. But again, ignore it. Nobody's going to call you up and give you money. That just doesn't happen.
That's a good one. Dude, I want to talk about the IRS scam, because a lot of people, because it's IRS, they see IRS and they get feared like a mug. You know, like they'll say, you know, money, you owe money for taxes, or they may use proof like false representation, like give you a false IRS toll-free number to make it legit, or they'll use fake, you know, badge numbers, or use common names, or they even use 4 digits from your social security number. Because this is what people don't know, though. Your information is so out there in so many different places, and there's pieces of it. Like your social security might be over in one place, your address might be in another, your birth date might be in another. But you know, these scammers and identity thieves, they pull all of this together and create a profile of you, and that's how they get to steal a lot of your identity. But the IRS, you know, they'll send bogus IRS emails and mimic sites. I mean, they are so good, though. It's unbelievable. You know, hang up and call back pretending to be the local police or the Department of Motor Vehicles, talking about they're going to lock you up. Beware, because the IRS does not do that, you all. The IRS always sends a written notification by U.S. mail. IRS never asks for a payment or credit card information over the phone, and they never request personal or financial information via email. So what to do? You know, if you do owe taxes, call the IRS. This is a number. You can screenshot this. You all take this and screenshot this. You know, any things we have out here, screenshot this and keep this in a place, copy it, and give it to your people so you know where to go. If you don't owe taxes, report the incidents to the Treasury Inspector General. Here's the website. You can do it. And always you can file complaints with the FTC. And this is the Federal Trade Commission, complaintassistance.gov. And you should do that, because even if you don't go for it, if they send something to you, you could be helping somebody else, because that's why when you put them out there, it really helps people. Another thing I want to talk about is the phantom debt collection scam. The scammers trick victims into paying a debt that doesn't even exist. They contact victims by phone. They refuse to answer any questions. They may have information about victims. They use threats, scare tactics, and they pose as law enforcement or government officials, employees. They refuse to give you a mailing address. This has happened to a friend of mine, trying to say they had their debt collectors and they asked for personal information. And that's usually the giveaway, you all. They do not ask. Most legitimate companies do not ask for your personal information. And they'll ask for you to go buy a prepaid debit card and send the card to them. I had one of these happen to me, though. They said they came and they committed fraud, but if I go, and they even knew a Wetmans that was close to me. They said, well, they had my address. They said, well, look, this is how you can do this. Take care of this. You know, you go, get a gift card for web. I said, do I go to the information booth? He said, no. Just go over to where the debit cards are. I'm like, stop it. Stop the madness, man. So these are the safeguards against those debt collection type people. Ask the debt collectors their name, telephone number, and address, and that'll stop them right there. If you don't recognize the debt, ask for more information in writing. Okay, you have the right to get a breakdown of any amounts owed. If they don't want to tell you, that's usually a giveaway. Don't ever give away financial sensitive information, and keep copies of all related papers. That's important that we do that.
Okay, let's talk about charity scams. And these are going crazy right now. Everybody was worried that the charities would stop getting as much money when they changed the tax deductions and made it more difficult to itemize your deduction. But you really got to watch them. They are crooked, and they can be legit and still not be something that you want to donate to. And again, they won't give you the information. They won't provide proof that it's tax deductible, which you'll need if you're going to itemize it. It might be close to the name of a legitimate charity, and they may thank you for a pledge that you didn't make, that you didn't remember making. And those are the kind of things you got to watch out for. And next slide. And they try to get you to give money like right now. They want the money right now, and they want cash or the wire money. That's another giveaway, you know. And they might request private information or routing numbers. Don't ever supply that, never ever. And they might guarantee a sweepstake winning. Again, when somebody tells you they're gonna give you something for nothing, you know it's still legit. So what you should do is ask for information, research their name, and check to see if it's trustworthy. You know, you can there's places you can go and find out. And you want to know how much of the charity is actually, I'm sorry, how much of your donation is actually going to be used in whatever the charity is trying to accomplish. And you can ask them for what percentage of the money goes to administrative, because you have charities out there. There was one, it's on 60 Minutes. They talked about it was a veterans to help veterans, and 97% of the money collected was going to the administration. They were using that money to try to collect more money, and then they were paying themselves out of what they're collecting. And so very little of the money actually went to veterans. So those are the kind of things you should ask for. What percentage of the money actually gets to the charity of what they're trying to accomplish? And so contact them directly and ask these kind of questions if you're really going to give a sizable amount to any charity. And keep a record of your donations, because if you do itemize your deduction, you'll need that for your tax purposes if in case you get audited. Or you can set up an annual donation plan and find out if you can get a tax deductible contribution. And make sure you understand that tax deductible means you can write it off on your taxes. Tax exempt just means the organization doesn't pay taxes. So make sure you understand that when you decide to make a contribution to a charity. And pay by check or credit card. And if you pay by credit card and it ends up being an issue, you can always fight that charge. If you pay by check, you have your record that you did actually make the payment. Don't ever send cash or wire money. Those are, you shouldn't send cash anywhere, but especially to a charity. And research it before you give money, and beware of charities that come up out of nowhere, especially when there's a disaster, because a lot of them are not legitimate. You know, there's a big disaster, usually the Red Cross or those kind of people is the best way, because they're legit.
Don, I like to talk about the computer internet scams. They call it phishing and farming. Phishing is usually when they have authentic looking emails and text messages. One of the first ways to discover if they're phishing with emails is always look at the extension. That's, the extension after the name, like dot, like rkinzer dot org or .gov or .com. If you see something strange like dot postal mail, those are not legitimate extensions, and that's usually the first giveaway. And then they got websites that trick the unsuspecting users into revealing all their personal information. So you got to be careful where you go out there. They usually call the website thing farming, where they put up these fake websites and you go into it and they send trojans to your computer and actually lock up and steal all your information. So then email spoofing, email address disguise is called email spoofing. Email address disguised to look like that of someone you may know. So definitely be aware of that. So look, this is the telltale language, you all. We suspect an unauthorized transaction on your account. To ensure your account is not compromised, please click on the link below and confirm your identity. Straight up giveaway. During your regular verification of accounts, we couldn't verify your information. Click here to update and verify your information. Don't ever click on any of those things. Call the company if they normally have a number that you can call. But if not, no, don't be clicking on anything. That's how they get you. Or they'll say, our records indicate your account was overcharged. Call us to receive your refund. And everybody loves to get a refund. And that's the okie doke. So be careful. So here's some of the safeguards. Use trusted safety software. Always update your software regularly. It's important to have security software on your computer. Don't email financial information. Can't say that enough. Can't give up personal information or account numbers. And be cautious of opening attachments and downloading files, regardless of the source. Use passwords that are hard to guess. You know, a lot of people don't do this because I know it's hard to keep up, but you must create different passwords, you all, and make them difficult to be able to guess. Don't be putting in to God be the glory, the number two, to God be, the letter be the glory. Nah, that give a stronger password than that. And shut down your PC when you're not using it. Because you know when it's on, people can access your daggone information if you're out there and leave it on the site. A lot of people don't know that. So please always shut down your PC.
Hey, Bob.
Yes.
And in addition, make sure your Wi-Fi password is hard, because somebody can, I mean, my house Wi-Fi, it'll work if you're in the front, outside, in the back. So somebody doesn't have to be in your house. So make sure you don't have a compromised password for your home internet Wi-Fi.
And beware, I'm glad you brought up the Wi-Fi thing, though. Beware of using public Wi-Fis, you all. You know, like at Starbucks or wherever you may be. McDonald's may have it. I know a lot of hotels have it. But just beware of using public Wi-Fis, because anybody can be hacked on those public Wi-Fis. I usually have the on my phone, the personal connection on my phone. I pay for it. You know, I'd rather use my phone to be able to connect to the Wi-Fi, because even though it might be free on those public sites, anybody can hack your information. Don't ever give control of your computer to a third party, and don't rely on call ID alone to authenticate a caller. Okay, be cautious of scammers posing as tech support. I get a lot of these. I'll be getting them from Verizon lately. I look at the email and I'm like, that's not Verizon's logo, but they act like they're Verizon's tech support, and they're listed on the software package or on your receipt. Lastly, this is the site for any identity theft you are dealing with the internet. It's a government site. It's called On Guard Online. Take a screenshot of this .gov. It's a wealth of information dealing with identity theft, the government site, what to do, who to go to, who to call, how to prevent. It's a very informative site. Go out there, onguardonline.gov, and I think it's ran by FTC, by the way.
Let's go back to phishing. And again, Bob mentioned don't open any message from an unfamiliar sender, even a text message. And if you open something that's suspicious, delete it. If you get something from somebody that you don't know, just delete it. You know it's probably not legit. And excuse me, if you're concerned about account, call the number on the credit card or on the statement. Don't deal with somebody on the phone. My health insurance with Aetna, and they called me up to ask about some special benefit they have. And I said, well, give me your number. Or no, I told her, let me call you back on the Aetna number, and then we can talk. But people can get so much of your information that, as Bob said, it's public. So I won't talk to anybody unless I call the number that's on, that I know is the number. So when Aetna called me, I said, no, I'll call you back and have them patch me through to you, but I'm calling the number that's on the back of my card. So just be very, very, very cautious with that. And another thing you got to watch out for is an overpayment scam. Somebody will call you. It could happen a couple of different ways. Let's say you sell something on Craigslist. You sell a couch and you advertise it for $1,000. You agree with somebody to pay you $1,000, but for some reason they send you $1,500. Okay, and so they'll call you back and say, "Oh, I sent the wrong amount by accident. Could you send me my $500 back?" And you'll think, well, let me see. Let me wait a couple of days till the check clear. And so you wait 2-3 days, and the money shows up in your account. But what you have to realize is that banks are required to put the money in your account within a certain number of days, but that doesn't necessarily mean the check is actually cleared. It may take up to 2 weeks for that check to actually clear. So what the scammer will do is ask you, okay, could you send me back $500? I sent you $500 too much. So you send them back $500 from your good checking account, and then a couple of weeks later, you find out that $1,500 check they sent you bounced, and they're no way to be found. So just be real cautious of sending money back. Most people don't overpay, so that should raise your alarm right off. So just be real cautious of any time somebody pays you more than they should pay you and ask you to send money back. So you might want to wait a couple of weeks or even check with the bank to make sure that check is cleared before you decide to make another transaction with that person.
I want to give another shout out to our viewers, Garnet Nickens and Modestine Johnson, who always be checking us out. And we have a new viewer, Deborah Joe Lott, out there watching us. And my favorite person in the whole wide world, Kitty Cheney from the FDIC. Thank you for tuning in. And Dope, my sister Nolia Melton's out there checking us out. And the newlywed is checking us out, Dodie. Tell her, Dodie, your wonderful daughter. Is she back in, where's she, in New York?
Back in Brooklyn, yeah, they're back in Brooklyn.
Yeah, happily married, and good luck. Just want to remind you, all the best, Taylor. So, Dope, I want to talk about the African and Russian scams. Now, I know we've heard about many of those, right? Where they say, you are the Prince of Abu Dhabi, and we just found out that King Matsubuti have willed you $10 million. But in order to process the check, you need to send a $2,000 check, and they'll send you the money right away. And do you know, as crazy as that sounds, Dope, there are many people who has fallen for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know a bunch of people, who thought they said they had Indian in their blood. I'm like, yeah, right. What are you, Rapaho? But anyway, stop all that heritage stuff. Watch out for those particular type of scams, you all, because they are out there. So let's talk a little bit more about identity theft. We all know about this. They steal your personal information and they use it to commit fraud. Like I told you, your information is all over the place. So they get it from several different places and put it together to build a profile of you. And check this out. Not only you, they'll go after your kids. Because most people nowadays, though, the first thing to do when a kid is born as a baby, they go get a Social Security card. And so they don't check it. No, why would they need to check, for a Social Security card for their baby or their kid that's 5-year-old? But there's people out there that will steal that information and run up credit cards. And by that kid till they get 18 and start getting going for credit cards, they see that their credit has been destroyed. So this information, you must protect your information at all times.
Hey Bob, and one of the things I hate is when you go pick up to the pharmacy, and the first thing they ask you is what's your date of birth. And
right.
Excuse me, with the screens down there so far away, you have to practically yell it out. So I'm going to start writing mine and just showing it to them, because I don't like giving out any information, because once you get a little piece, it's a lot easier to get more.
Right, because it's all out there. When you swap your card at Walmart, it automatically goes out on the information highway. Every time, wherever you swipe your card, remember there's a bunch of information on your card about you. So wherever you swipe your card, remember it's sending information out on the information highway. So every time you swipe it, there's information about you. And there's thieves that know how to go out there and pull it from different places and build a profile and go out there and steal your identity and get credit cards and be buying things on your name. So protect your personal information, protect incoming and outgoing mail, sign up for direct deposits for all you old folks. Most people can't, because most companies, they won't even, give you your paycheck now unless it is direct deposit. But if you don't, you got to use a shredder to destroy financial trash. Monitor your bank accounts all the time and credit card bills. Like we always talk about, using the 3 major credit bureaus that give you free access to your credit information: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You get 1 free from each one of those. That's how you can monitor your credit, and it's we suggest that you get 1 at the beginning of the year, 1 3 months later, 1 3 months then from the other major.
Every 4 months.
I'm sorry, why did I say 3? And I know it's 4 though. Every 4 months. That way you'll cover the whole year instead of getting all 3 at once. And avoid come-ons for personal information. You know what come-ons is, right? They be trying to come on and get you daggone information. Review your credit record annually, okay? And place an initial fraud alert with one of the major credit reporting agencies. And that's a great tool to use. They provide that at each one of the major credit reporting agencies. Request copies of your credit report. Like I said, make an identity theft report if there's a report, because a lot of people won't do that though. And some of this identity theft you should be reporting not only to the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, but you should report to your local police department too. And consider placing security freeze on your credit report. This is information. If you are a victim, this screenshot this, you all. This is where you go, the Federal Trade Commission. They can help you out, and you need to notify them so other people don't get caught with some of these scams.
And finally, the fraud alert for Social Security. And they'll open up a My Security account. And so if you're of age, and I don't think you have to be a certain, I think it's any age can open up a My Social Security. I would open up an account just to keep somebody else from doing it before you do. So it doesn't matter how old you are. You can go ahead and open your account, and you can look at your information and make sure it's right, because mistakes do happen. And so make sure you open it so nobody can open it for you. And it's kind of silly, but I'd always talked about holding off on claiming my Social Security until I turned 70. But one of the minor reasons I went ahead and started taking it, I think at like 66, was that I was worried about somebody else stealing it before I could open it. But, that's not the real reason, but that's part of it. That was in the back of my mind, because again, I don't trust anybody. And so
funny, though.
if you do, this is something you have to stay on top of. And so here's another number you can keep track of if you do have any issue. And make sure you got lots of time, because when you call them, you're going to wait for a long time before somebody answers. But that's the number you call if you have any issues.
And that's with, your Social Security information. But let me tell you something. This is another little tip, though. If you're looking for Social Security advice, the last place to call is the Social Security Administration.
Yeah.
They won't be telling you a financial plan on what you should be choosing, what you be picking. Don't even think that that's what they're going to do, because they're not. They're not in the business of financial advising.
Right.
They'll just tell you the options you got, but they're not going to be giving you advice. But do know if about opening your account, and or if you didn't, this is who to contact. Take screenshots.
Open your own account. Do that. And one last thing, stop putting all your information on Facebook. And for a while, they were putting those questions out there that were similar to some of the security questions, like what was your first car? What was the first street you lived on? Don't nobody need to know that. And really, don't nobody care. So stop putting that information out there, because it can be used against you.
So let's take it home with our summary and takeaways from this show.
Okay, the first one is no use making money if you're going to let somebody steal it from you. Take the time to safeguard. I know you got a zillion things you have to do, and everybody's real busy, but it's just like taking time to invest money. The return on taking the time to safeguard your assets is worth it. Trust me, the time and effort I had to put in straightening out the IRS when somebody filed their taxes under our name was, believe me, a lot more time than you'd want to spend doing anything. So take the time to safeguard your assets.
You cannot underestimate these scammers. It's their full-time job. Take the time, you all. I'm telling you, take the time to make strong passwords. Don't be using the same password. I know y'all do it. I know you do it. I do it. But I'm trying to stop doing it and provide more, because I'm telling you, they out there to take your information, and you worked hard for this money. Yeah. You worked hard, man, and you don't want to make it easy. Now, can you stop them? No, you really can't stop them, but you can prevent them as much as you can. And then if it does happen, know where to go to put, to stop it and to reinstate your funds. That's the thing. You can't stop it because, it's out there, but we can prevent it.
Yeah, be careful with your personal information. Guard it at all times. Even if you're sitting in Starbucks looking at your phone, make sure when you put in your passwords and things of that sort that you are covering your phone. Scammers are unbelievably sharp. It's like when you're putting in your PIN number in your ATM, they use telescopes to see what your PIN number is, and they can get information from the scamming machines. Just be careful with your personal information. Don't trust anybody. Cover up as much as you can.
Hey, Doe, I'm glad you mentioned. I want to mention something about the scamming machine. They have these machines that they put on the front of the ATMs, which is a scamming machine. And you think you're putting your card in and putting information into the actual ATM. The giveaway sign is it's protruding way, it protrudes, most of them all protrudes way from the actual screen. And beware of that, you all, when you go see something like that. Even at these, when you go to the gas pumps, they put them on the gas pumps too. And they usually stick way up off of the gas pump or the ATM machine. So use all tools available to protect your assets, like alerts, review your credit reports. Like we said, you get 3 free ones, and then you got Credit Karma and Credit Sesame out there. They're legitimate, but just beware when you use them. Remember, they could be, marketing your information, and, they use your information to provide, access to other credit cards for you. They get money if you use one of the credit cards because they say you got a low credit score. But they still are good places to get alerts on your credit to make sure people are not stealing your credit.
And, report all identity theft to the proper authorities. It may help someone down the road. So try to report it if you do get hit by somebody.
And just remember, it can happen to anybody. No matter how good you think you are, it can happen to you too. Just remember that. Don't want to shout out to my homeboy, DC's finest, Aubrey Seabrooks, who said this is a good topic. He said that scammers are in large force. Thanks for the tips. Thanks for checking in on us, Aubrey, man. Good seeing you. Dope. Another great show. We hope everybody got something from this, as in all shows. We've been covering a whole lot of information these last 27 weeks, from investing to insurance to home ownership. We've covered a lot of topics, and we got a lot more topics you all to talk about. So please tune in. And remember, next week, we're not going to be on because it's Thanksgiving. We're giving everybody a chance because everybody's going to probably be eating dinner. We're going to be getting fat. And then you know what happens when you get that itis. Y'all going to want to go to sleep. So we say we're just going to sign off for next week. But we will be back the week after that. So make sure that y'all, stay tuned. I guess, what is that next week, though? The 25th, right? No, 25th. So then, what would that be? December. Let me see. When is the next show? Let me see, though. Let me just make sure I got the right date here.
In the meantime,
next show, December the 2nd. December the 2nd. That's going to be
everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving. There's a whole lot to be thankful for just being here. So make sure you enjoy your holiday.
Yes, and don't fall for the okie doke. Love y'all. Peace be with y'all. Check in December the 2nd at 8 p.m. The FITT Show. Financial information for the day and tomorrow. Take it easy, dope.